Hey there! Today we're going over part 2 of the 2014-2015 TMSCA General Math Test number 1. Let's do it. Alright, 40 centimeters plus 20 centimeters plus 1 meter equals how much millimeters? Alright, so this is a simple conversion problem, so we just have to convert the units all into millimeters. So let's start off with centimeters. So 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters. That means if there's 40 centimeters, there is 400 millimeters. Next, 20 decimeters. Alright, so 1 decimeter is 10 centimeters. Okay, so that means 1 decimeter is equal to 10 centimeters. And as we know, 10 centimeters is equal to 100 millimeters because 100 millimeters divided by 10 is just 10 centimeters. Alright, so 100 millimeters. Alright, so that means if we have 20 decimeters, that's 200 centimeters, which is equal to 2000 millimeters. So now we have 400 millimeters and 2000 millimeters. Next, we have 1 meter. Alright, so 1 meter is equal to 10 decimeters. 10 decimeters is equal to 100 centimeters, and 100 centimeters is equal to 1000 millimeters. So if 1 meter is equal to 1000 millimeters, that's all we have because we're just looking for 1 meter. So we just add 1000 millimeters. And now we just add these up and we get 3400 millimeters. And that's your answer. Next, using the stem and leaf plot below, which of the following is 5 more than the median? Alright, so in a stem and leaf plot, as seen in the key, the number to the left of the line is your tens place. So in this case, in the key, it's 1. And the number of the right of the line is the ones place. In this case, it's 0. So it's 10. Knowing this, we can find out what each of these numbers are. So this first number, we have a 1 and then 0. So that's 10. Next, there's a 1 and then a 1, so that's 11. Alright, now that we've done all the 10s place, now we can go to the 20s. So 2 and a 0, that's 20. And there's another 1, so another 20. And then 2 and a 5, that's 25. Next, for the 3, there's just 1 3, and that's 3 7, which is 37. Alright, let's keep it going down here. Next, 4 and 3, that's 43. Then 4 and 4, which is 44. And then 4 and 5, which is 45. Alright, so this is our full list. 10, 11, 20, 20, 25, 37, 43, 44, 45. Alright, the question is asking which of the following is 5 more than the median. So we have to solve for the median of this set of numbers. So the median is just the middle number in the set. So let's count. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 terms. Alright, that means the fifth term will be the term in the middle. So in this case, the fifth term is 25. So 25 is our median. So we just add 5, and that's 30. And that's your answer. Next, what is the unit rate of a dozen apples costing $4.08? Alright, so a dozen apples. So first off, a dozen is equal to 12. Alright, so if a dozen is equal to 12, all we're doing is 4.08 divided by 12. Let's do it. Alright, so first up, we have the 4. 12 cannot go into 4, so we put a 0. Alright, now we subtract 0. And we're left with 4. Then we bring down the next one. Alright, so now we place a decimal up here. And we have a 0, so it becomes 40. So how much times does 12 go into 40? 12 goes into 40 3 times. Because 12 times 3 is 36. So we subtract 36, and we're left with 4. Now we bring down this 8, and we have 48. 12 goes into 48 4 times, because 12 times 4 is 48. So you have 0.34. And that's your answer. Next, triangle ABC has angle A, which is equal to 33.25 degrees, and angle B, which is equal to 71.19 degrees. What is the measure of angle C? Alright, so the triangle ABC. Alright, so we know that A is equal to 33.25 and B is equal to 71.19. Alright, so in a triangle, the three angles all add up to 180 degrees. So all we have to do is add A and B and then subtract the sum from 180. Alright, so 71.19 plus 33.25. So if we do the math, we get 104.44. Alright, all we have to do is down, do 180 minus 104.44. That's 75.56. And that's your answer. Next, LeBron watched a movie that was 1.45 hours long. How long was the movie LeBron watched in minutes? Alright, so first, if it's 1.45 hours, we can break this up. So that's 1 and 0.45 hours. So we could write this like a addition. So 1 plus 0.45. So 1 hour is just 60 minutes. And we're adding 0.45 hours to 60 minutes. Alright, so to solve this, we need to know that 0.45 is obviously less than 0.5. 0.5 hours is equal to 30 minutes. So it's definitely less than 30 minutes. Alright, so that means we can rule out D, we can rule out A. Alright, next, 0.45. So that means it's between 0.25 and 0.5. 0.25 hours is just 15 minutes. So it's some number between 15 and 30 minutes. So it can be 60.45 and it can be 64.5. So we're only left with 87, and that's your answer. However, let's say that we had two answers hypothetically that are in the same range. What we would do is we would just multiply 0.45 times 60, and then we would get our answer. So in this case, 0.45 times 60 equals 27. So now we would just add 27 plus 60, which is 87. And that's your answer. Next, 9 pounds is equal to how many ounces? Alright, so 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. So that means all we're doing is 9 times 16. 9 times 16 is 144. And that's your answer. Next, what is the next number in the sequence? 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. Alright, so this is a famous sequence called the Fibonacci sequence. That means each previous term in the sequence is added to the current term. So what that means is 0 plus 1 equals 1. Then 1 plus 1 equals 2. Then 1 plus 2 equals 3, and so on and so on. So it keeps repeating. So all we have to do is take the second last term, which is 13, and add it to 21. So that's 13 plus 21. That equals 34. And that's your answer. Next, 4.56 is equal to what percent? Alright, so whenever having a number over than 1, right? So a number that is greater than 1, so let's say x, that means the percent will be also greater than 100. So for example, if we have 2.3 is equal to what percent? The answer would be 230%. Because 2 is greater than 1. Alright, knowing this, let's solve this problem. So 4.56. So all we're doing is, we're just multiplying it by 100. So 4.56 times 100 is 456. And that's your answer. Next, calculate the lateral surface area of the cylinder below. Let pi equal 3. Okay, so the formula for lateral surface area is, so let's say LSA for lateral surface area. That is 2 pi RH. So let's fill out each component. So we have 2 times pi, which is 3, times the radius, which is 8, times the height, which is 13. So that equals what? Alright, so 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 8 is 48. And then 48 times 13. So 48 times 13 is 624. And that's your answer. Next, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with this symbol. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 produces a set with how many elements? Alright, so these are called set problems. So when you have this symbol, which is right here, that means you're taking everything from both sets. So in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12. So you might be wondering why we haven't written 2 or 4 or 6 or 8 twice. That is because when two numbers overlap, we don't write them twice. We just write this as one number. Alright, so knowing this, now we can see how much elements it has. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's a total of 11 elements, and that's your answer. However, in the future, if they give it a problem like this where the symbol is upside down, all you do is you do the opposite. So you take only the numbers that are in common. So in this case, only 2, 4, 6, and 8 are common in both sets. So then it would only have 4 elements. But in this case, this is the right way up. So there's 11, and that's your answer. Next, simplify 4 times 2x minus 9 plus 24. Alright, so we have 4 times 2x minus 9 plus 24. Alright, so obviously we can't multiply. Alright, so obviously we can't do 2x minus 9. However, we can use the distributive property to do 4 times 2x and 4 times negative 9. So that would become 8x minus 36 plus 24. Negative 36 plus 24 is just 24 minus 36, which is negative 12. So it becomes 8x minus 12, and that's your answer. Next, Cassandra wants to buy a shirt that costs $28. If tax is 8.5%, how much tax will Cassandra have to pay? Okay, so when doing this problem, all we have to do is 28 times 0.085. And that might seem really hard, but what we can do is we can move these numbers 3 decimal places forward, so 1, 2, 3, and we can make this 28 times 85, and then whatever we get as the product, we just move that back 3 decimal places. So 28 times 85. So if you do 28 times 85, you get 2,380. And now we just move it back 3 decimal places, so 1, 2, 3, and we put the decimal here, and we get 2.38. And that's your answer. Next, Crunchy Tacos produces 48 tacos in 15 minutes. At this rate, how many tacos will Crunchy Tacos produce in 2.5 hours? Alright, first of all, 2.5 hours is just 150 minutes. So that means if they produce 48 tacos in 15 minutes, that means they just multiply it by 10, which means they're going to produce 480 tacos in 150 minutes. And that's your answer. Next, 34 base 8 equals what base 10? So I actually have a full video on this. But let's continue. Alright, next. 34 base 8 equals what base 10? So I actually have a full video on this, but let's continue. More on that in the pinned card at the top. Anyways, so 34 base 8 equals what base 10? Alright, so when solving this problem, all you have to do is you have to take first number right here, 34, and split it up into its digits, so 3 and 4. And now you're going to multiply each of these numbers by the power of 8. So 8 power 0 for the ones place, and 8 power 1 for the tens place. And hypothetically, if we had a hundreds place, you would multiply it by 8 power 2, and it keeps going on in that order, but we don't have a hundreds place. So it's just 8 power 1 and 8 power 0. So 4 times 8 power 0. So any number to the power of 0 is just 1, so that's just 4 times 1, and that's 4. Next, 3 times 8 power 1. Any number to the power of 1 is just itself, so 3 times 8. 3 times 8 is 24. And now all we have to do is add 24 and 4, and we get 28. And that's your answer. Next, what is the area of a square with a diagonal of 16 meters? Alright, so the formula for finding the area of a square with the diagonal is 1/2 of the diagonal squared. So in this case, the diagonal is 16. So 16 squared times 1/2. Alright, so 16 squared is 256. And 1/2 of 256 is 128. And that's your answer. Next, 5 factorial equals what? Alright, so when you have this exclamation mark after a number, so in this case it's 5, that means it's a factorial. So factorial just means that you're multiplying the number given times every number before it. So in this example, we're given 5. So 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is the same thing as 5 factorial. Alright, so now let's solve for this. So 5 times 4 is 20. 20 times 3 is 60. 60 times 2 is 120. And 120 times 1 is just 120. Which means 120 is equal to 5 factorial. And that's your answer. Next, 2 square miles is equal to how many acres? So this is a very simple problem actually, because 1 square mile, so 1 mile squared, is just equal to 640 acres. So that means 2 square miles would be 640 times 2, which is 1,280. 640 times 2 is 1,280, and that's your answer. Next, 512 minus 360 plus 47 minus 100 plus 6 equals what in Roman numerals? Alright, so I actually have a full video on this, but let's continue with this problem. So 512 minus 360. So 512 minus 360 is equal to 152. Alright, now 152 plus 47. 152 plus 47 is 199. 199 minus 100 is equal to 99. And 99 plus 6 is equal to 105. Now we have to convert 105 into Roman numerals. Alright, so for Roman numerals, the basic ones are I, which is 1, B, which is 5, X is 10, L is 50, C is 100, and D is 500, and M is 1000. Those are the basic ones. As I said earlier, I have much more in-depth explanation on this in a video just about Roman numerals. But let's keep going with this problem. So 105. 105 can be represented as 100 plus 5. So 100 is C and 5 is V. So that's just C, V, and that's your answer. Next, what is the length of the missing side of the triangle below? Alright, so this triangle is a right triangle, which is indicated by this right corner. Alright, so that means we can use the Pythagorean theorem. So all that we're doing is a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. However, in this case, all we have is a and c. We don't have b. So we can flip this around and make it c squared minus a squared is equal to b squared. So 29 squared. So 29 squared is just 841. 841 minus 20 squared. 20 squared is 400. It leaves us with 441. The square root of 441 is equal to 21. All we're doing is we're finding b squared, so we have to do the square root. So now we get 21, and that's your answer. Next, 4 over 45 is equal to what in decimal? So all we have to do is 4 divided by 45, which is pretty simple. So 45 does not go into 4, so we put a 0. Next, we can bring out the decimals. So 4.0. 45 still doesn't go into 40, so we make the 0.0. Next, 400. Alright, so 45 goes into 400 8 times. And so now we just do 45 times 8. 45 times 8 is 360. So we subtract 360. And we're left with 0.40. Alright, now we bring down the next 0. So that's 400. And again, we have 400, so it becomes 8 again. And now we're just going to keep repeating since we have this pattern. Alright, so our actual answer is 0.08 repeating. This line over it means repeating. That way we don't have to write out the entire number. And that's your answer. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to show your support. These videos take a lot of effort to make, and I would really appreciate it.